Welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. When I started this podcast in 2008, I was on a mission to promote women business owners, creatives, and entrepreneurs. In each episode, my guests provide resources, valuable tips, and inspiration. Women Entrepreneurs Radio is about showing women how to harness their natural strength to achieve success on their own terms. Did you know that you can find the Women Entrepreneurs Radio podcast on many podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and YouTube also? If you listen on Apple Podcasts, please take a moment to share your feedback and a review. 5 stars is always great, because the more that you share your feedback, the easier it will be for the show to be found by more listeners. So I hope you'll take a moment to do that. And as well, you can stop by the blog, womenentrepreneursradio.com, and you can find extended bios of the show guests and articles and announcements of interest to women business owners. So please make sure you stop by the blog and also subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Oh, wait, before you go, you can also stop by dbaileycoach.com to find out more about my nonfiction books and about my online writing courses for fiction authors. And dbaileycoach.com/brightbooks is where you'll find my paranormal and fantasy romance novels. And now, let's get started with the show. Hi everyone, welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. I'm so glad that you could join us today. And I'm going to get started by introducing my guest, Kathy Goughenour. And she's the founder of Expert VA and Virtual Expert Training, where she trains and coaches women who want to build their own virtual assistant home-based businesses. Kathy runs her virtual empire from her dream home, which is in a tiny home in the middle of the Missouri National Forest. And she can be found sporting a tiara 98% of the time. And she wears PJs, not gowns. Yes, you've got it. PJs and tiaras, because that's the type of kingdom she's ruling, and why not? She knows that when you become a powerful woman, you can make your own rules. So welcome to the show, Kathy. Really great to have you.
Deb, thanks so much. And I know I disappointed you because I don't have a tiara on today. I have a fascinator on instead. But I do have my pajamas on under my sweatshirt. Here they are.
I think they have become, the clothing of choice for many people. So
yeah, I'm not standing out anymore by wearing pajamas. I'll tell you that.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
I mean, did you see the Golden Globes? Jodie Foster and her wife both had pajamas on. I was so excited. I can't even tell you how excited I was.
Oh my gosh. No, I didn't actually, but I guess it makes sense, because if you're not exactly on the red carpet and having to sit there in your gown and wait for your name to be called, you might as well be comfortable. So I agree with that. We'll see if that becomes a trend after a while. I think some people may want it to. At least to be comfortable.
I'm
nothing
one.
else.
I vote yes. I vote yes.
Exactly. Just be comfortable. My goodness. So, well, Kathy, before we get started on our topic, could you please share for the listeners how you got started in your business?
Yeah. Thank you so much for asking me. I spent almost 20 years in a Fortune 500 company. And at the age of 40, I had been trying to get a promotion for a couple of years and wasn't getting anywhere in my corporate job. Asked my boss why, and he said, "You laugh and smile too much." And Deb, I wasn't even wearing tiaras or pajamas. I was wearing nylons and business suits.
Wow.
And he thought I laughed and smiled too much. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
boy.
I thought about it for a while, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to change who I am. How do I do this? I don't know. I've already been here almost 20 years. What do I do? And I really, looking back, I don't know how I had the courage to do it, but I decided to quit. And I did. I quit that job and started my own virtual assistant business. I didn't even know what a virtual assistant was. This was back in 2001. I just kind of, I did a lot of marketing. That's what I enjoyed doing in the corporate world. I was marketing manager there. So I started, talking to real estate agents because we needed to buy a house. And, I kept giving my opinion on what I thought their website needed to do to be improved. And one real estate agent said, why don't you actually fix it for me? And I'm like, cool. Yeah, I'd like to do that. And, after I did that, I said, so, you're okay with me working from home instead of coming into an office? And he goes, yeah, you're a virtual assistant. And I'm like, a what? And I said, oh, I didn't know this was a thing. So I Googled it. And within 3 years, I was earning, over $100,000 as a virtual assistant. And, back then, no virtual assistants thought that was possible because they thought it was just, oh, this is just a little general admin job. And what I realized was there was so much more to being a virtual assistant than that people really needed a lot of help. Women entrepreneurs needed a lot of help. And so in 2008, I started my own training program. Primarily, I did it at that time because I had more clients than I could handle, and I needed to hire virtual assistants of my own to do the work. And, once I started doing that, I was like, oh, I could do this for a living instead. And I really enjoy training and coaching women, how to start their own businesses, how to build their own businesses. And that's where I am today. That's how I have expert VA training and virtual expert training, and how I'm able to live in the middle of nowhere and run a business.
Well, that's terrific because that's, I think, the ideal for people, that they can work from anywhere and also do something they really enjoy. So that is really a really good story to share. And also because a lot of people really didn't know what virtual assistant was. And I'm guessing some still really don't if they've just come into having their own business and they don't really understand the help that's out there for them.
Right. And the benefit of working with a virtual assistant, because there are huge benefits.
That's true. And right now, let's get into the topic. And you're going to share 7 of the hottest services that virtual assistant clients are hiring for today. And I really want to know that myself because I know everything is constantly in a state of flux. So why don't you share that with us, Kathy?
Thanks, Deb. So, first of all, I used to tell people that what virtual assistants could do is anything that somebody that's in your office could do except get you coffee. And now I even have to edit that because they can have your coffee delivered. And if you think, oh, but I need something printed, you can have it printed and delivered. My VA does that for me all the time. So, the top 7 things, as you can imagine, think of what you do right now. What all do you do that you're like, oh, I really don't have time? Social media is a biggie. So, are you marketing on social media? Are you doing that organically or paid? A virtual assistant can do that for you. Blogging. Even if you write your own blog posts, you need to have somebody edit and proof them. And that's a great way to get a VA started. You can write your own blog posts. They can edit and proof as they do a great job. You might even say, hey, how about if you try writing one? And then they write it for you. That's how I did it anyway. They write it, you edit it. And then after they get to know your voice, then you can say, now you take that over, write it, post it. Just let me know when it goes live. I want 1 a week on this date. So blogging is another one. And let's look at something on the opposite extreme. Technology. I don't know about you, Deb. Maybe you're really good at technology, but I am not good at technology. So anything that I have to have, any level of technology done, whether it's my website or my membership site, or any of that stuff, you can hire a virtual assistant to do that for you. So for example, Deb, what do you use, to manage your email? like to automatically send an email marketing?
I think I think for the most part, when it comes to email, a lot of times that's me just trying to manage all of that. So, and it's a pain.
Okay. Yeah, it is. So for example, I use Active Campaign. So, and I have to know how to run it. I don't want to know how to run that. I want somebody else to run that for me who actually knows how to do it. So I hired a virtual assistant who runs Active Campaign for me. To make sure that the emails actually go out to the people that I want them to go out to, because when I did it, I would accidentally send them out to my whole list instead of the segmented list. I didn't even know how to segment a list. And if you can tell, what I'm talking about is really getting specialized virtual assistants to do the work for you. And the benefit to having a specialized virtual assistant is they already know how to do the work. So for example, my membership site is on Kajabi. I have a virtual assistant who knows how to use Kajabi. I don't pay her as she was learning how to do that. I only pay her for the time she actually spends doing work for me on Kajabi. So it's very reasonable. It's not like having a part-time employee. It's on an as needed basis or on a project basis.
That makes sense.
Are you kind of getting the feeling? Do you need bookkeeping done? We have VAs that specialize in bookkeeping. Do you need images created so that you can post them on social media? There are graphic designers, graphic artists, and people who can do all of that. And then, of course, there's always the general admin. Not really sure what you need yet. You can hire a general admin to get you started and give them, help you decide what to delegate, because they're the specialists in this. They can literally talk with you, find out what is holding you back. What are you wasting time on that you don't like doing? What have you put off that you really need to get done? And then they can do that for you. And by the way, virtual assistants, let me just talk about what that is in general. They are independent contractors. So they're not employees. So you don't have any of those pesky employee overhead things. They have their own businesses. So they have their own equipment, everything that needs to be done. They already know how to do. They know how to work online. They know how to do the work that they're going to do for you. And they know how to do it very quickly and very well. So there's no time being wasted. In fact, statistics show that an employee versus a virtual assistant gets 3 times more done in the same period of time as an employee does. So think about if you felt like you needed a part-time employee, shorten that by 1/3, and that's how much time you will need a virtual assistant. So it's much more economical.
That's really an interesting thing to point out, because I think a lot of people who don't really know how they could work with a virtual assistant may be thinking in the employee model, and maybe that's intimidating for them.
Yeah. And I think that they think it's going to be really, really expensive, and it doesn't need to be really expensive. So one of the questions that I often get is, when do I know that I need a VA? And my recommendation is, as soon as you feel like you need help, you need to hire somebody. Don't wait until you're desperate. Don't wait. Get started right away. Hire a virtual assistant for $250 a month. Pay them $25 an hour, 10 hours a month. You will be amazed at the amount of work that they can get done for you. Multiply that times 3. If you had an employee, they'd be working 30 hours a month for you. That's basically part-time. The VA can get that much work done for you in 10 hours, and $25 an hour, $250 a month. It will change your life. You will suddenly go, how did I live without this person?
Mm-hmm. And that's true. I think a lot of people, again, they don't know that having someone take over those tasks can save time for them now to do the other types of work that they actually are supposed to be doing.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. I mean, it's really easy. A lot of times people are like, well, how can I afford a VA? And I'm thinking, how can you not afford a VA? Because if you think about it, if you charge even as little as $100 an hour, if you charge $100 an hour on the average, which I think a lot of entrepreneurs do, if that's about how much you're earning is $100 an hour on the average, and you pay a VA $25 an hour, you're making $75 an hour every time they do some work for you that you don't have to do, right? That's a simple way to look at it. But the bigger way to really look at it is how much more are you going to get done that you're going to be able to create and get value out of and get paid for over and above that for every hour that you don't have to spend on tasks that you don't enjoy, that aren't bringing in money for you. And the other thing that most people don't realize that happens with a virtual assistant is they really are very personally involved with you in your business. They want you to succeed, and they get to know you. They get to know your business, and they can give you suggestions on how you can save money, how you can make more money. I will tell you, the virtual assistants that have worked with me, they have helped me save more money and make more money than I have ever paid them.
And that's
so they really can be a profit generator for you. They can really increase your bottom line.
Yeah, and that's something I think that, again, people may not even consider, that that person they're working with really is going to make suggestions about the better ways to do things and how they can distribute the work a little better.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. I can give you a perfect example because I was just talking about Active Campaign. So I use Kajabi as my membership site, and I did use Active Campaign to do email. And the VA that was working with me, she knew how to do both Active Campaign and Kajabi, which was ideal because they worked together. And my list was getting really big, which is good on one hand, but the bigger your list gets, the more you pay, no matter what system you use. So I was to the point where I was paying $1,000 a month for Active Campaign. And my virtual assistant came to me and she said, Kajabi now has the ability to do email for you. You don't really need Active Campaign. And I'm like, what? Is this for real? And she's like, yeah. And I have a plan for you that I've thought through on how we can test it for 1 month to make sure the Kajabi email really works as well as we want it to. And then after that 1 month, if you're happy with the results, then we just release Active Campaign and you're saving $1,000 a month. And that's indeed what we did. And oh my gosh, I will tell you, it feels so good to save $1,000 a month.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Wow, that
VA just paid for herself right there, right?
That's for sure. Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. And of course, as you were saying, because she knows about that software already, then she's also knows the advantages of using it.
Yeah. I didn't even know Kajabi did email, because it was something new that they had released. And as somebody that specializes in Kajabi, she stays on top of what's happening with new releases and updates. And, she comes to me and says, hey, here's the newest thing. I think we might want to try this. And I pay X amount for Kajabi no matter how much I use it, or, it's one of those systems that, you pay X amount for, no matter how much you use it or don't use it. And I want to get my maximum out of my systems like that. And I'll bet there are a lot of people listening right now who are like, oh yeah, I have this, how many software programs and platforms there are out there. I have this system that I've been paying for years, and I don't even know what I'm doing with it. Hire a virtual assistant who specializes in that, and they can help you get the most out of that system, or they can help you identify that this is not a system you even need anymore.
And that's another point that you've brought up that is very interesting, that the virtual assistants would already have this knowledge and be keeping up with these different platforms. And I think that's something that some people may be nervous about, not because they do that, but because they think, oh, now I've got to train someone and I've got to find someone, and how am I going to delegate my work to them if they have to come up to speed. And it sounds as though that really should not be a problem when you're hiring a VA.
So yeah, let's talk about that a little bit, because there always is a little bit of an onboarding and a learning curve. And I say 30 to 90 days is what you should be looking at. And in fact, a lot of people, when they're hiring a virtual assistant, they will actually put in their contract, which the virtual assistant can create the contract for you, also send it to you. You don't have to do that yourself. Let me just take a side note right here. My goal always in hiring a virtual assistant is that I don't get any what I call homework. That VA is not going to give me homework. I'm going to be giving them the homework. So if a VA that is wanting to work with me start to give me homework, I'm not going to hire that VA. I want them to figure out ways that whatever it is they need to have done in order to work with me, that they do it. And very little do I have to do. And that's what everybody should be looking for, is someone who's professional as a VA, is not going to be your second cousin's best friend who is looking for extra money. All right. We're talking about somebody who knows how to manage a business on her own and is professional and comes to you knowing how to onboard you as her client and is going to provide a VIP service for you. Okay. She's not going to say to you, hey, do you have a contract that you can send to me? No, she's going to say, hey, I'd love to work with you. Would you like to know the next step to working together? And if your answer is, yeah, tell me more, then she'll say, I'll put together a contract. I'll send it to you by this date. You can review it. Let me know if you have any questions, concerns, any changes that you'd like to make. And I'll put it in the contract exactly what we've agreed to work on, how much you'll be paying me, and the maximum number of hours that you'll pay me for each month. And you'll be like, oh, that sounds great. You'll get that. You'll review it. You'll bring her on. Now, once you start this 30 to 90 days, that is when you're going to get a feel for, is this a good fit for you? Right? Because a lot of people can feel like a good fit in your interview process. But then when you actually start working together, give them the benefit of the doubt for 30 to 90 days, because they need to get to know you and your preferences, right? What's your logo? What are your logins that they need to have? What's your team? How do you want them to work with you? What are your expectations? What are their expectations, right? So there is that adjustment period. And that's always a little more work for you, because you are having to share some of your logos and logins and preferences with them. But once you've done that, and that's a good fit, that VA is a good fit for you. You guys are good at communicating with each other. They're doing the work. They're meeting deadlines. That's really crucial. If all of that happens, you're going to be so happy after 90 days. You're going to be like, what was I waiting on to hire this person? And typically you'll be like, do you have any extra hours? Could I give you a little more? How about this project? Could you take this on too? And the average client works with a VA they're happy with for 7 years. It's a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's a long-term relationship, because once they're really good and they really understand your business, you don't want to lose them, and they don't, and you're going to treat them good because of it. And they don't want to lose you because they love working with you. They see your mission. They want to help you build whatever it is you're building. They're very, very involved in your success, and they'll be your biggest cheerleader too. We always need somebody in our corner.
That's true. And that's a great way to look at this as well, because then you feel like a lot of people are doing this work on their own, and they may feel like they really don't have those people to reach out to, or people who can really work with them to make things better. And so to look at the VA as that kind of a partner, if you will, is a totally different way to look at it, I think, than maybe people may have looked at it before as you were saying, like, well, they're admin or something, and this is all they can do. But this is, I think, a much better way to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, most people do look at it as this is, and they literally use just an admin. They look at it as an expense rather than a increase to your bottom line. And I really know from the way I've worked with clients for 7 years and the way that VAs now work for me, my team is totally made up of virtual assistants. That's the only people that I work with. I don't have any employees, and that is absolutely the trend. You can only imagine since COVID how much that trend has grown, because a lot of those companies that were like, I really don't think that people can work virtually or remotely, whichever word you want to use, and still be really productive. And what they've actually found out, which is what I've known for a very long time, they're actually more productive
Yes, that's true. That's true. And I really have to laugh because, I was in IT and right now I do tech writing, and I know that for a lot of companies over time, that would always be their reason for, wanting people in the office, and sometimes depending on where you work, your commute can be pretty awful, here. And it's like, well, why am I doing this? Because I'm on the computer. I can be somewhere. I can be at home. I can be anywhere. I don't have to be in the office. But that was always the rationale. And I think now they've been forced to look at it differently.
I try to always look at the silver lining, Deb, and it's been hard to find silver linings with COVID, but I do believe that is one of the silver linings is, a lot of people were forced to look at this in a different way. And now they're like, oh, this does work, which I absolutely love. And, not everybody wants to work from home. Not everybody, some people really enjoy going in the office. So I love personally the hybrid model. Let those people who want to work in the office or who really need for some reason to be in the office periodically, to be in the office when needed, and have them work virtually or remotely, whether they're an employee or an independent contractor, whatever level they're at. I think it's going to make a lot of people happier, and it's going to reduce the overhead for companies. I mean, the real estate alone is a tremendous overhead that companies have had to bear.
Yeah, it's definitely very expensive here, and just the the traffic alone can be excruciating. So you're like, thank God.
Look at all the time you're saving that, you're not slugging into work and, oh my gosh, and then I have to leave and go back home and then I'm tired. You're at home, you're refreshed, you can get your work done. And it benefits everybody, including the environment.
Yeah, that's true too. That's something else that I think, people had mentioned, about the pollution in the cars, all of that all adds up. So you could see that it's a difference. And also it would seem to me that being able to have, this virtual work opens it up for a lot of people who maybe are living in different places and they can't really get to, a center where there's all these businesses and everything, but now they have a choice. They don't have to move or go through all that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And as women entrepreneurs, one of the things, that I am really big on, Deb, is supporting other women entrepreneurs. And in case anybody doesn't know this, virtual assistants, it's 95% women. Because this is the support profession. VAs are virtual support professionals. That's really what they are. And they love to support other people. That is what their goal is. They don't want to be the star. They don't want to be out there in front. They want to support the entrepreneurs. And that's just always been, and I don't think it ever will stop being, a female role. And that's why so many women are in this, because they really want to do that. And they can make a great living working anywhere. Just like you said, they don't even have to work from home. They can work from a coffee shop. They can live in another country. It doesn't matter. And then the entrepreneur who is hiring that person, they can get the best of the best, because they also don't have to worry. Are you living close to me? Are you, where are you? They literally get to pick and choose what they need and what they need right now, and work with, that level that they want to work with. And to me, it's so freeing and so wonderful. And it gives women so many more opportunities.
Yeah. And that's extremely important.
I don't know about you, but I'm here to change the world, Deb.
Well, I think that's great, because that's what we need.
I am here to change the world. And I truly believe that the more women entrepreneurs we can have, the more wealth that we women can get, which we are growing our wealth. The more love we can spread in the world, and the world that is run by women will be a much kinder, gentler, more loving world. I truly believe that, Deb. And that's my goal. And I'm not planning on doing it single-handedly. That's why I'm on your podcast. I need the support of people like you and your listeners to help me change the world.
Well, that's a wonderful segue into you sharing with everyone where they can find out more about you.
Yeah. So you can find out, I have a special page set up just for Women Entrepreneurs Radio Podcast, and it is virtual experttraining.com/women-entrepreneurs-radio-podcast. And there you can find out about becoming a virtual assistant if that's something that would interest you. Or you can find out about hiring virtual assistants. And my team and I, we actually do free, and this freaks everybody out, we do free VA matchmaking sessions. And a lot of people say, what's in that for you? Why are you doing this free? What's the catch? And I'm doing this because I want to change the world, step one. And step two, I have these amazing people that I have trained who can be great for you, and I want to pair you guys up. And so that's why I do free VA matchmaking. So if you're even thinking about, I might want a VA, feel free to reach out and we'll have a conversation with you about it, help you figure out what you need, what your budget could look like, and then refer VAs to you.
That's a fantastic service, because then that way people don't have to feel that now I have to find someone, I don't know how, what's the process. And this sounds like it really makes it very easy.
Yeah, it does. And I will tell you that we're very good at doing this. The person on my staff who actually does the matchmaking, she, in her corporate career, was a recruiter. And that is still part of what she does as a virtual assistant. And so she's very, very good at doing this. And she personally knows the people in our program, so she can do some really good matchmaking.
That's great. That's perfect, actually. I think that'll make a lot of people realize that they, again, don't have to go through all these different obstacles, and it's really been made easier for them to find that person who's the right person for them to work with. And that's the point, for everybody to really find that person and get started and get them on board. With technology and with everything that we're remote or online or whatever, it seems that there's just more and more and more things to learn and do and everything. And how do you see things going forward for a virtual assistant where it just seems like there's so much more to learn and to do? It seems to me it would be really wide open for people to, go start businesses in this field and become virtual assistants.
Absolutely. So I think a lot of people really look at this as a very limited opportunity because they haven't worked in it yet. They haven't worked with the VA. And the reality is, it is a great entry level. When everybody used to work at corporations. I know that's how I grew up and that's all I thought there was. You always got in, what's the entry level? And then I'm going to grow, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that's exactly what working as a VA is. It's the entry level into owning your own business and learning how to market a business, learning how to build a business. And you get to do that while you're earning money. And when you work with people, and you're helping them build their business, guess what you're doing? You're learning about that business. And that's the beauty of this that I didn't realize until I jumped in and started doing this. I learned so much as a virtual assistant working for companies, working for solopreneurs or larger companies. I learned so much about business and about marketing my own business online that I have been able to develop several businesses over the last 20 years. That's how long I've been in this industry. And that's what everyone does who becomes a VA. It's like a stepping stone. It's like getting an education while you're getting paid to learn how to build a business. And then you see, some people say, well, all you have to do is figure out what people need and give it to them. I don't think it's that easy to figure out what people need when you're out all by yourself, just going, let me just brainstorm and see if I can figure out what people need. But when you're working with those people, it's easy to see what they need. Mm. So for example, I was a real estate VA, as I mentioned, when I first started, and I very quickly saw a big need that real estate agents had, and they needed very inexpensive blog posts. They needed a lot of blog posts and they didn't want to pay a lot for them. So in addition to my VA business, I started a membership site for real estate agents where I sold blog posts to them. I built that business plus my VA business. The blog post business grew in 4 years and somebody bought it from me.
Wow.
And then I started my training business.
Nice.
And so you can see how, did I know all that was going to happen when I started my VA business? Heck no, I didn't even know what a VA was when I started. But very quickly you learn. I learned a lot. I was never a real estate agent, by the way. A lot of people are like, well, were you a real estate agent? No, I was a marketer. I knew how to market. So I got to know real estate agents. I got to know what they needed. I learned how to market for them. And then I developed this other membership program. And that's how you grow your business into whatever you want to grow it into. So a lot of people are like, this was what I can tell you how I went wrong and how a lot of people go wrong, Deb. I was a marketer at the Fortune 500 company, and I have my MBA. I have all of that. And I thought, I'm going to become a marketing consultant. So that's actually what I started promoting myself as, was a marketing consultant. I got no clients, none, zero.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, I happened into this guy who was like, why don't you fix my website for me? And I was like, okay. And what I realized very quickly, Deb, was that what people really want, they don't want you to consult. They don't want you to tell them what to do. They want you to do the work for them. And that's what VAs do. They do the work. And as I was doing the work, I was making good money and learning a lot. And then you can grow into becoming a consultant or a coach or whatever else you want to do, versus beating my head against the wall going, how do I get money as a marketing consultant? I don't have a background in this. I don't know how to market it. It's going to cost me a lot of money to try to market it. So it depends on where you want to go. I wanted to make money. I needed to make money. I'm the sole breadwinner for my family. My husband's fully retired.
That makes a lot of sense. What you're saying is that people are trying to figure these things out before they even get started. And then,
yes.
Yeah. And you saw these opportunities, but you were already in the process and you were able to see, oh, I see that they need this, they need that. Oh, this is something people could use. And that's how you, you built your businesses.
Yeah. Because when you're really involved with your clients, like now I had big dreams. I'm driven. I hope you can tell by the way I talk about this. I mean, absolutely not, I guess if you want to change the world, you would say, yes, she's driven. And I'm not slowing down. I'm 64 years old and I'm just getting started, Deb. I'm a late bloomer, but I'm going strong now. So I don't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, so at my peak of my VA business, I had 70 clients. And I had a waiting list for more that wanted to come on. Wow, and that was back before VAs became popular. So just to give you an idea of the shift since COVID, the VA industry was a $1 billion business before COVID. That's how big the industry is. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now it is a $1 trillion business.
Wow.
Yes. The virtual assistants that are in my programs that I work with, and I talk with them all the time and ask them how their business is doing. They give me updates on it. Most of them grew their business 130% during COVID. They were we're very lucky to be in the business we're in, because instead of it going down, it went up, because all those businesses that weren't online yet needed to get online, and those businesses that were online wanted to grow. And the VAs are able to help them do that. In fact, the VAs in my program, they reached out to all of their clients as soon as COVID hit. I'm like, reach out to all your clients, see how you can help them. They all need help. And they reached out and said, I know you're a brick and mortar. Let's get you online. I don't know. The clients were like, I don't know how to get online. I can't get online. And the VA knows how to get you online. They know what you need, so they can help you do that. And it's been incredibly fulfilling for virtual assistants this year.
That's great. And it's also, again, makes a good point, because there's the assumption if you're already online, you assume that, everybody already knows this, or they know how to do that. But I've realized, just looking at different articles and things, that a lot of people had no idea about the online world at all. And this was just brand new for a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, And Deb, it shifts so fast. It changes so fast. I mean, I've been online since 2001. I've been doing this business since 2001. I don't even know half of what's happening now, even though I try to stay up with what's happening. I don't know half of it. It's impossible to stay up with it. It really is. And if you try, you're going to be spinning a lot of wheels and not making a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So if your goal is to make money, change the world, whatever your mission is, focus on that. Don't go on all these other shiny object hunts because, oh my gosh, you will never make money. You'll always be chasing that shiny object. You know, I want to keep growing and learning how to shift my mindset, how I can help more people, but I don't want to learn the latest software platform or the latest social media platform. Mm-hmm. Do I need it? If I decide I need it, I hire a VA who already specializes in it to do it.
That's a good thing to share with everyone because, as we're saying, it's so much keeps popping up every time you look around. There's something new, and then you're like, I can't keep up. Well, you don't have to. If you do hire other people to help you, you don't have to have that worry that you can't keep up every time you see another software, another social media. It's just exploding. As you're saying, so much. It's no way that you could do it and still do the things you're supposed to do.
Yeah. I mean, if you just tried to keep up with social media, you'd be overwhelmed. Clubhouse. Yeah. I'm like, what? What? Clubhouse? Oh my gosh. What am I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, me too. I've seen links and everything. I'm like, no, I have enough. No. I'm not even going to look at that. But yeah. You start to hear more and more about certain platforms, and then you find out that, people are trying to invite you over there or they're talking about a lot. And it's like, okay, I can't follow everybody everywhere, so, you have to make choices, but I could definitely know for some people that have to maybe spread themselves out, then they don't have to do it themselves. They can call on those experts and VAs to help them and who will already know these things, or that's what they're learning, and they can really give assistance. So I think that's really important for people to realize that there is help out there. And for those people who may want to go into that themselves, that's an opportunity. So they really should keep that in mind as well. So it's, it's kind of two ways to look at it, which I think is pretty exciting for us. But, Kathy has been, shared so much wonderful information for us, and I'm sure that everybody is going to get a lot out of this, whether they want to start a business or hire a VA. So do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share?
Yes. Don't be afraid to hire your first virtual assistant. Do it. You'll be glad you gave it a try. And especially if you're at all a little nervous about it, just book a session with somebody on my team. It's very easy to do. You can just email me, even if you don't want to go to the page, Kathy@expertvatraining.com. It's free. There's no catch. We just want to change the world. That's all. And we want to help you change the world by partnering with you, helping you see that a virtual assistant can really be beneficial to you. And Deb, just thank you so much for inviting me to be here today. I really appreciate it.
Well, you're very welcome. And I'm so glad you can come and share this, because I think it's definitely the right time for people to know that they can get help and, have professionals to help them to get the job done, because, no matter what happens with COVID, I think the online world definitely is just going to get bigger. It's not going to shrink, and software is certainly going to continue to come out, and different things are happening. So, anybody's listening, know that, it's serious to think about how you can hire people to help you who, will have all that knowledge that maybe you really don't want to put the time into because you've got other things that you're doing. So, Kathy, I'm really glad you could join me. Sure that everyone's going to really enjoy this conversation. Well, everyone, I know that you're going to check out Kathy's site, and we're going to have that link and her email address in the show notes, so you can, check all that out and visit her site and learn more about it, and just kind of see maybe you can find someone or ones to help you in what you're doing as we move forward and people start to maybe be able to focus more on their business and growing it and getting better and bigger and all that stuff, whatever your goal is. So in any case, this has been Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. And I want to thank you for joining us, and we will see you again next time. Bye. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to stop by womenentrepreneursradio.com to read extended bios of the show guests and also find links there for their websites and any offers that they have shared with you. And stop by our Facebook page at facebook.com/womenentrepreneurs.